My name is Alison Howie Day. I'm a retired psychologist, so I'm busy being retired right now.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
and doing a lot of Pilates. I've done Pilates for a while and I really like it. I periodically have difficulties, perhaps due to arthritis in part, I don't know. But I was having problems with my neck, frequently stiff and sore, and the upper back. And what was happening is in some of the Pilates classes, it was getting worse. And so I was a bit frustrated because I didn't know if I should do certain moves or not because of that. I was a bit confused about what I should push to do as I used to do, moves that I've done before, or should I make some other modifications, which I had done, but it's always hard to do.
What made you decide to start working with me?
I was willing to do it with you because I've been doing your classes for some time. I feel a certain connection, and I've always felt very comfortable with you. And I have talked to you a few times outside of classes, and I just trust you. I trust your expertise and I trust you as a person. I have to say, when I had agreed to do it, I thought, oh, what have I agreed to do? I didn't know how it would work out. But after the first session, and particularly perhaps the second, I realized how good this was. And I realized that you were focusing in on the issues that I was having trouble with and helping me, especially with my neck and upper back, and giving me cues and modifications. And I thought, wow, this is really good. This is definitely helpful. What I really like about this is that it's very flexible. It is not what they call in the US a cookie cutter approach. It flows in whatever direction it needs to flow. And I appreciate that because somebody could come in and say, now, this is what we do now. We do this. No, it's not like that at all. It's very fluid. And that I appreciate. I think some of the things that you did, particularly perhaps in the second session, you drew my attention to the fact that I wasn't really doing the shoulder connection, the upper back correctly, even though I've been doing Pilates for quite a long time, actually. And I thought I knew how to do it. And I wasn't doing too badly, but there's more explanation that you've given. And I think it helped me to relax the neck more and realize that it's that upper back that needs to be focused on rather than getting the neck involved all the time. And also the angle of the neck. So a lot of things like that, of course, you tell us in our classes. But as I found out today, I've done this particular class I did many times. And today I got so much more out of it because of the way you've been coaching me. And that really made me happy. When I first agreed, I thought, I don't know how Emma's going to be able to correct me online, but I think you do a fantastic job. And that's one of the things that's really good. People might say, oh, she couldn't do it. Not online like that. But that has worked and is working.
How would you rate the pain from when you first started to now?
It was pretty problematic at first. It was more like an 8 to 10, I think. And now it's much more intermittent. And right now it's pretty good. I'd say it's more like a 4, but in general, it's a lot better. And then I found the exercises you've given me, if I do some of those, it seems to ease the neck. It's great because I used to do all these other neck exercises that didn't do anything. So whenever I do them, it feels better.
So
And
good.
that's a gift. I've been working for a while on trying to be comfortable with modifications because you've pointed out some things to me and to be able to incorporate those in the classes, even though you'd say these things, but just to pay more attention than ever is really good.
And so how does this impact your mental health, sleep, energy in your
Well,
life?
it really does. And I do find generally that Pilates is very good for me emotionally as well as physically. It's especially the way you do it. And that was another reason why I was willing to work with you, because I have actually, as I said, done Pilates for a long time with a lot of different instructors. And I could see the difference in how you do it, how you teach it, and what you know, and the focus that I've never really seen as much. That has helped a lot.
What would the biggest win or tangible result be that you've had so far during our time working together in the short
Ah,
time?
yes. the awareness, body awareness, and acceptance that there are certain moves that probably aren't the best for me. I do like the way that you understand the problems of older practitioners. You do. And because we have to be willing to modify, and you've helped me with that because we can still get a lot out of it, but not necessarily do it at such a high intensity. And I think that's another really good thing about the way you approach it, because not all Pilates instructors understand the differences as people get older. They just don't. Yeah, so I think that have a better understanding, a better acceptance. I can identify where I need to do modifications more easily. And oddly enough, in some ways, I haven't had to do quite as many since I've been trying to do it correctly. Yeah, so there's a lot of good things. And you were so supportive. This is another thing. It could be a very stressful experience doing this, but what I really like is the individualized coaching, and you're so supportive. And it's a very pleasant experience working with you, which I'm sure everybody finds. But that is a big deal to me because I don't want to be working with someone when I'm stressed. It's stressful if somebody's correcting you and they're negative, and it's never like that. So that's I really appreciate. And I suspected that would be the case. I had a gut feeling that's another reason why I chose to do it with you, because I had that gut feeling that it would be like that, but never know.
What would you say to anyone who's considered working with me?
It is an investment financially, that's for sure. But on the other hand, it's an investment in ourselves and how we are going to deal with various kinds of problems that most people have. So I would say if you can do it, I think it's worth doing. I really do think it's worth doing. But I didn't completely know that when I started out. I thought, I'm spending some money here and I don't know if that's the right thing. But it very quickly proved that I'm just getting a lot out of it. In fact, it will be very hard when it's over because I like all this feedback and help. I really like it. So that's why I'd say it's worth it. And sometimes it's worth spending some money on ourselves. Often we don't want to necessarily, we think we shouldn't, but it's quality. There's no doubt about that.
What would you say to someone who's never considered getting support with pain, this kind of training for pain relief?
Yeah. It just makes all the difference because working with someone who can give support, provide individualized coaching, encourage and be very positive, and help correct some long-standing moves that weren't quite correct, that's worth an awful lot. And the thing is with Pilates, I know this from my own experience, there were many things I did for years, even before I worked with Emma, and joined the Core Fit Club, that think you get stuck in these moves, positions, habits, and we don't want to let that go on and on. And the more we use those bad habits, it's going to make our general body comfort much worse. I just think if we can correct things, it's really worth it because you can do Pilates all day long and be doing it wrongly. And some people might be a little apprehensive. They might think, well, this will be difficult because be all these things I'm doing wrong. But with Emma's approach, it's highly positive and always a good experience.
So, what would you say to someone who's never invested in themselves at this level?
I understand completely because I'm not sure I have at this level. Really, I usually say, oh, no, it probably isn't worth it or something like that. But I did invest in it. And probably because I felt I knew Emma and I trusted her and I know how good she is at Pilates. I know her expertise. But I think I just took a leap of faith. I think that's what I did. And it was scary, actually. But, and I thought, what have I done? But then once I started, almost immediately from the first class, I knew that this was worth it. And sometimes we have to invest money in ourselves and time in order to maintain a good lifestyle, maintain it the way we want to, and not constantly be suffering, and at least feel like we're making progress and we know what to do to help ourselves. I truly haven't ever committed like that. I don't think I ever have because no, I don't think so. I've paid for much smaller things, but I've never done something like that. You have a gift and you have something to really something to offer. So,
Thank you. And
yeah,
who would benefit from my work?
probably anyone. But I think particularly, although I wouldn't wait too long, women who are perhaps perimenopausal, menopausal, getting older, I think they would particularly, and men, actually, men as well. But especially women who are getting a little older, that's the time when some of these problems really crop up. I got away with a lot when I was younger. It doesn't always work as you get older.
Totally agree. Thank you so much. It's been so good to chat, Alison, and covering all those topics. I thank you for your time, and I can't wait to continue our training.
Yes. Thank you so much for everything.